Rivet City. Can you help me? Are you sick? I can thank you.
Hold it right there. State your... I can't help you there, but you're free to ask around inside. Just... We're the safest, most secure city in the wasteland. Nothing can get in here without our say-so. I don't exactly have time to worry about the history around here.
Everything looks okay here.
Who are you? Got any psycho? I could really use a fix, but I'm I run the chem shop, but I'm broke. That's what Cindy says too, but I got the itch. I need... It's a place to live, safe from raiders and super mutants. With Dr. Lee on our side, maybe we can even begin...
Good to see you.
I am Father Clifford. This is St. Monica's Church. She is the patron saint of lost children, very popular among the faithful of Rivet City. If you want to hear her story, it will be the topic of my sermon on Sunday. Oh, it's not the past of the city that I dwell. But if you're interested, I believe Miss Weatherly or Mr. Bannon would be glad to speak with you on...
It's locked for a reason. Don't get any ideas. I'm Diego, the Father Clifford. The sanctuary is in the ship's...
Welcome to Potomac Attire. I carry discriminating attire for discriminating... Between you and me, keeping out the riffraff is good for... Dr. Lee, Chief Harkness, and I are all on the council. We meet every Monday morning. I can be very influential, if you know what I mean. A threat? No, of course not. Well, maybe. He wants to replace me on the council. He's a shady character. I just can't prove it. Now, if someone were to find something incriminating, well, let's just say I would be very... Give me a shout if you need anything else. Why, I practically set this whole place up. When I got here 12 years ago, it was just a handful of dead-enders squatting in a rusted-out... Now I'm on the council, and with my leadership, we're the strongest settlement in the way. Of course, a few of those dead-enders still stick around, but who'd want to leave? Well, yes, but it was hardly any place of importance until I arrived on the scene. That's all ancient history now. No one would ever care about. If you insist on wasting your time on that, you could try that bartending old crone down below.
Yes?
Have a seat anywhere. Someone will...
Welcome to Gary's Galley. Can I take your... It's named after my dad. You mean like... No. Most of them are polite. Even the ones like Diego that I'd want to flirt with. Well, one of us is. Sometimes it seems... Especially if he is a priest with a... Well, I'm not giving up. She's not very social. She's smart, though. I heard the place was settled by mercenaries who used to scavenge DC, but I don't really know.
Be with you in a minute.
Are you okay?
Hello.
Ma'am?
Yeah? What do you want? Yeah, that's James. I'd sell him to you if they'd let me. Unless you've got any more... Gary, you know what I like? Make it rare. Oh, give James something to do.
This here is Flack and Shrapnel's gun shop. Pretty catchy, huh? I don't put the good stuff out on the table. If you're interested, I can show you the stuff in the... Yeah, he's totally strung out. It's gonna kill him one of these days. Fred, I can't help you, pal. Been here for years, but all I know about the history...
Pleasure, Tammy. I think I have some iguana bits for James.
Quite an impressive collection, isn't it? Well, don't be shy. Have a look around. Abraham Washington's the name. Curator of this... Ah. Each of the documents in this room tells a small but important story about the history of the United States. Unfortunately, the greatest prize of all is missing from the... Why, yes. Your knowledge of American history is quite impressive. What an amazing crown jewel in my collection that would be. The original document created by the people for the people. Indeed I do. Without the Declaration, the rest of these relics are almost meaningless. I must acquire the document for me, and you'll be awarded You'd secure your place in history. The man who rediscovered the Declaration of Independence. Marvelous. Excellent. You won't regret it, I promise you. Imagine, you are taking part in another... You can find the Declaration of Independence. In the D.C. ruins, you'll find the national... The building should contain the document in a protective glass case. Be careful. Here, let me... It's funny now that you ask. I can tell you all about the Capitol, but I really haven't got any idea about... I can't see how important it is compared to the Capitol's history, but maybe Bannon might know something. He's in the governing...
Ted Strayer. You mean, I just hang out, dude. I've got enough chems to last a while. Dude, I only just...
advanced scientific center in the capital wasteland, I find your...
Look, Dr. Zimmer, we've been over this. We don't know about your runaway robot, and we don't care. This lab is dedicated to solving real problems.
Yes. But Dr. Lee...
Dr. Lee is trying to save lives, and your constant interruptions are interfering with those efforts. Now please, stand aside.
I'm sure the good doctor's work with water purification is fascinating. But if you only knew what was at stake, the technology in that android...
What's at stake? You won't tell me what's at stake. Vagaries and secrecy. A robot's a robot, Zimmer, no matter how shiny the paint job. Now, please.
Ignorance and facetiousness. That's all you people are good for. Shiny paint job indeed. You can't even imagine the Commonwealth's accomplishments.
You know, if you're so smart, maybe you could help us, But no, that never even crossed your mind. Go peddle your selfishness somewhere else.
Fine, but I'm not leaving. Not until I've spoken to Dr. Lee. I'll be here when she's ready to abandon her chemistry set and talk real science.
Suit yourself. Don't go too far.
Hurry up!
I'm going to need...
You there. What are you, some kind of lab assistant? Are you by any... To the point. I like that. Well, as it turns out, I've misplaced some very... How do I... All you know of robots are those buckets of bolts, those Mr. Handshakers and whatnot. Well, that's not... You see, in the Commonwealth, we've made artificial persons, synthetic humanoids, programmed to think and feel and do whatever we need. And occasionally... You're helping me retrieve this I've tracked him this far. He's out there somewhere. He must have done something drastic, like facial surgery and a mind wipe, or else I would have found him. It will be no easy task. He may not even realize he's an android. Don't upset him by talking with him. Just come get me immediately. I'm sorry, it slipped my mind. I have at my disposal advanced... I'd be willing to share some of it with you. Just think, you'll be the envy... Excellent! Look, here, listen to this message he sent me. He's mocking me. I swear, I'll make... Like I said, I suspect he's had facial... Search the offices of doctors or techies for android information. If he's come into contact with these people, then start with Dr. Preston. He lives on this leaky boat. See if he knows anything. Now, if you'll excuse me... The Commonwealth itself is nothing but a war-ravaged quagmire of violence and despair. Inside the sealed environment of the Institute, however... But the Institute's affairs are none of your concern. Your undeveloped mind couldn't even begin to comprehend what we've accomplished. Maybe he didn't exactly wander off. Maybe he fled. Escaped captivity, as it were. It's possible my android sought to forget his previous life. Wipe away all memory, all guilt. Trick himself. So no, he may not be just an ordinary robot, but he's certainly not human, no matter how badly he wishes it so.
Need you to move some equipment. Good to see you.
Yes. Lay a hand on Dr. Zimmer and I'll snap your neck like a chicken bone.
Some sort of...
Lay a hand on Dr. Zimmer and I'll snap your neck like a chicken bone.
That's why I'm glad I'm in here. Good old rivets.
Look, this is a restricted area. I'm tired of telling you people. It's you. My heavens, you look so much like him. You're James's son, aren't you? Well, yes, of course I do. Don't you know who I am? I suppose James never told you. Typical. I'm Dr. Madison Lee. I worked with your father many years ago. Your mother as well, in fact. You'll have to forgive me, this has all been very stressful. What with your father suddenly showing up here after being gone for... You have to understand that we put all of that behind us. Project Purity, our work, all of it. We've moved on, even if your father... I suppose so. I worked with them for several years until your mother died, and your father decided it was time to leave. What else do you want? Yes. Your mother was... well, she was a good woman. A very dedicated scientist. It was a shame that she died. She had been excited to meet me. Complications from childbirth. None of us were expecting it. We weren't as prepared as we could have been. You have to understand, we were struggling with scavenged, derelict equipment. We did everything we could. Yes, well, James? He was very driven, determined to change the world. Well, we all were back then. He was focused on two things, really. Making Project Purity work. When she died, I think he gave up. I know he wanted to keep you safe, but I think part of what he did was run away. But it seems that he never really was able to get over the idea. I'm frankly shocked that he waited all this time and wants to try again. I could tell you all about the science lab, but even though I was here near the start, it all seems like a lifetime ago. I'm afraid I've had a lot of things. You mean you haven't? For that matter, aren't you supposed to be in a vault? James said he left you there. Did you? I was under the impression that's exactly the opposite. Well, you won't find him here. He's come and gone. Your father insisted that we return to work on Project Purity. I tried telling him too much time has passed. There's no... Predictably, he refused to listen to me. He says he can prove it will work and headed off to the... I'm sorry, I don't know what up... It's in the old Jefferson Memorial Building, northwest of... Please, don't go after him. It was foolish of him to eat... Look, I don't want to be harsh, but I don't have the resources to support James's foolish endeavors or your I suppose I can spare a few stim packs. It's not much, but it might make things easier. Project Purity, we called it. What do you want to know? It was simple, really. Fresh, clean water for everyone. Such a simple idea. The plan was to build a facility that could purify all the water in the tidal basin at once. No radiation, no muck. It just turned out to be more difficult. We had the basic principles down. We understood most of the science behind it, but the radiation in the area... Small-scale tests were fine. But anytime we tried to test the process on a larger scale, it would... Maybe if we'd had more time. You had... It wasn't just you. We had more problems than we could handle already, but your birth is what finally pushed it over the edge. Your father decided that you were more important than everything we'd been working for, and he left. Once he was gone, the Brotherhood decided we weren't worth their time anymore. Without their protection, we had to abandon the Purifier. What? Your father and I... We worked together for a long time. I think we were really... But then there were complications. The project was... I returned here to Rivet City and established the lab you see before you... That man doesn't have you looking for his pet android, does he? I've already told him to lay off it. He's just... Did he?
Me too. Nothing is getting through these walls.
I'm Janice Kaplinski, Chief Botanist.
I do the repairs around here, so if you see something that needs fixing, let me know. This place could use a few more people willing to work. Everything is falling apart. I'm the only one willing to fix it.
I heard that the city council is debating putting railings on the flight deck.
Well, I hope they do something. Remember that child that fell off the deck last year?
Good. This place won't clean itself. That's my job. Look, I'm busy.
We should be heading to the clinic, Father. Good to see you.
May Saint Monica bless you.
God bless you and keep you. What are you talking about? I'm a man of the cloth. Well, I will be as... Never mind. It doesn't matter what Angela... Father Clifford says she is my tribe. I must choose between her and the... One of the new immigrants died of radiation poisoning last week. Yeah, I heard you were drinking river water. The ship's water isn't much better. We don't get fresh water soon. We're all in.
If you're listening to this recording, it is because you're believed to be trustworthy. I hope that is the case because this recording puts us both in danger. I'm escaping from the Commonwealth. I'm an android, a synthetic man, a slave. The men hunting me are ruthless and will stop at nothing to retrieve their property. I need to find a doctor in the wasteland to perform facial reconstruction. I also need someone who knows a great deal about computers. I need to have my memories erased and my face altered to look like someone else. don't you look where you're going?
Hi. What do you want? My mom is probably drunk. Is that good enough for you? You're my hero, mister. I want to be Yeah, Dad built it to fight off the Mireworks. And What did you say about my mother? Go jump off the... Hey. Yeah? What do you...
The Muddy Rudder.
Stay away from me! What do you... I suppose it doesn't matter. I used to be a slave. I saw a slaver on this ship. His name is Sister. Really? Can you help me? I've been so worried with him around. Thank you. I'll go to Flak and Shrapnel's just before... I don't have anything to give you, but if you ever go up north, there is a secret slave hideout called Temple of the Union. You might find...
Whoa! What's...
Haven't run into you before. Nobody does. Don't worry, it won't be...
Want to do some buff out? Maybe a little psycho? Oh, come on. Pay more attention to what you're doing.
Like last year.
Yeah, that was bad. I'm sure they'll do something about it.
Hello? You must be new. I'm Seagrave. If you've got anything you want to unload, stop by my Yep, I'll take it all. One man's... Yeah, I know. I got dummy written on my forehead. They sent those tapes to lots of people. You know, gullible and technically minded. If you had read that letter, you'd know I'm no slaver. And you know I'm not dealing. But if that letter gets out, they won't trust me. I'll never get a seat on the council, and Bannon will make me pay for trying to replace him. If you care about Rivet City half as much as I do, tell Danvers that Bannon is blackmailing me. But don't show her the letter. He's totally strung out. Oh, I really wouldn't know. I mean, long as I can remember, I grabbed a wrench and joined in the reconstruction. Last feller I remember from back then was Mr. Pinkerton, and he must have left about a decade ago. After that, he used to have a storage shed in the broken-off bow of the ship. We always thought he was... Might have kept a couple records down there, I guess. Careful, though. Oh, well, the old girl had seen a lot of damage. Especially, I guess the mutants and the Myers got so busy fighting each other, it gave us the time we needed. Does that tell you what you need to know? Anyway. If you had read that letter, you'd know I'm no slaver. And you know. But if that letter gets out, they won't trust me. If you care about Rivet City half as much as I do, tell Danvers that
Hey there. Yes?
Yes?
Hey, don't tell me your problems.
Have a seat anywhere. Someone will be with you in a minute.
Well, this is a quick fix. I mean, that's the name. Oh, okay. The poor dear. That boy ought to just give her a tumble. He's hopeless. I have to keep... One of these days... Well, I don't really... But I've heard Bannon talk about how he was responsible...
Welcome to Potomac Top.
Hey there.
How the hell did you get in here? I suppose this is the part where you tell me what the hell you are doing bothering an old man. Well, if you must know, I'm an electrician and computer expert. And I'm a bit of a surgeon. Really. I'm the guy that got Rivet City up and... And after all that, Lee and her gang of flunkies pushed me out. Ha! Project Purity, indeed. I live here. It's where I do my work, and it's far away from Dr. Lee and all those other monkeys. You made it past my defenses, which proves you aren't a dummy. And you haven't killed me. I suppose you can hang around. What? I have better things. Ha! Sounds like you've been poking around, all right. Maybe they still laugh about how they edged me out of the council back then. For that, you have to go all the way back to when remnants of the Naval Research Institute cleared the Mirelurks off them. We were looking for new lab space, and this bucket of bolts just happened to have a well-preserved... Everything else just grew up around that lab once we got it up and running. The science team was led by one... That lasted until about 18 years ago, when those ambitious backbiters like Lee and her little team... She came in with her big Purity Project pipe dream, and my whole staff started working with her. She even took my seat on the council. By then, I was glad to leave it behind. But hell, if I'm leaving... Of course I do. A good son. Here. They probably don't even remember, but I kept the records of that first council meeting. Take them, if it'll put them in their place. Who cares? It's some hydroponics pipe dream that Lee's been working on forever. Apparently, though, my teams cared more about it than they did about little things like defense systems or making this treacherous bat. Of course I'd. Here. They... Hey, be more careful.